Earlier this summer, the Ontario government announced a fall hunting season for double-crested cormorants starting September 15th. Gail Fraser is a professor at York University who specializes in colonial water birds, and she joins us now from Toronto for what that hunt could mean for the cormorant's future. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
So, cormorants seem to be a very divisive bird. It seems anyone who knows about them has an opinion, but for people who are not familiar with cormorant, what is it?
They are large black colonial nesting water birds. So they nest in colonies. They are an aquatic predator, so they feed almost entirely on fish, small fish, relatively small fish.
And in terms of when we see them out and about, where could we be seeing them in, say, the Great Lakes?
Yeah, usually they are within a couple of miles of the shoreline. That's primarily where they're foraging. And during the breeding season, which is when they're in Ontario, they are on land, usually on islands. And they forage quite extensively to rear their young. So it takes a lot of effort to rear their young. And so you'd see them primarily on larger lakes. Typically, they're not on the smaller lakes within Ontario.
So this province recently said that this hunt was the result of concerns from property owners, commercial fishers, and anglers about the damage cormorants have caused to their communities. I want to pull up a little graphic that kind of outlines what the province has put out for this hunt. The hunt will start from September 15th and run until December 31st. Hunters can kill 15 birds a day, and they can hunt from a stationary boat, and they must retrieve and dispose of the carcass. And the province also says that they will establish a monitoring program to assess population status and trends. Gail, looking at this list, what are your concerns with the hunt?
Yeah, my a big concern is that the government hasn't identified population targets, and so within best practices of wildlife management, you'd use science and you'd identify how many birds are going to be taken, what percentage of the population is that going to be. And so it's a fundamental violation of one of the best practices or principles of wildlife management. So there's an unknown variable of how many birds are going to be taken, where they're going to be taken, and so in my mind, it's a problem. Even though they say they're going to monitor population trends, it's going to be after the hunt, and it'll be primarily breeding birds.
Now, I understand about 51 ecology and fishery scientists, including yourself, recently penned a letter to the province asking them to re-examine the hunt. What exactly are you guys asking for?
Yeah, so myself and colleagues, including some of the world-renowned experts on double-crested cormorants, signed this letter asking for the hunt to be stopped and for the government of Ontario to take on a science-based management approach of dealing with the human-wildlife conflict with cormorants in Ontario. And a big part of this is that this bird is migratory, so it's going to the U.S., and the U.S. is also undertaking, or almost certainly will be undertaking, more population controls. And so here we have a hunt going forward where there's some unknown number of birds that are going to be killed. The U.S. is also going to be killing birds, and it'll be very hard to coordinate a sustainable population for this species. And so we want science-based approaches, and there's been a ton of science-based work on this species. And in fact, the U.S. has undertaken environmental assessments that are quite substantive, and they have rejected hunting as an option to control this species.
I'm curious, you've been studying cormorants for well over a decade. You have kind of seen their populations climbing. Do you personally think that there are too many cormorants right now and there needs to be some sort of management, or where do we stand on that?
Yeah, well, I don't, but I do have concerns that there are conflicts. So there are people out there that perceive the species as being a problem, and therefore the ministry needs to address those conflicts. In the past, in 2006, the MNR had a report, and they just said, let's just monitor the population, that there doesn't seem to be a problem. It takes a lot of work to determine whether a predator population, in this case an aquatic predator, has a particular impact on a fishery. And so I have concerns about going forward in the guise of protecting fisheries or fish populations. They're hugely complex systems.
I want to bring in the opposing views. So on one hand, you say this hunt could decimate the cormorant population, and on the other, the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters says it's just the start. I want to pull up a board from Lauren Tonelli with the Ontario Federation of Anglers and Hunters, and she writes, a small fall harvest will not be enough to adequately reduce the ecological damage that cormorants cause provincially, but is a recognition that something needs to be done and gives individuals a means to begin to reduce local concerns. What do you have to say to that?
Well, if I focus on the very last sentence, local concerns, very much in order to consider if there are ecological damage by cormorant predation, it has to be a localized management action. So you can't have a province-wide hunt and think that a particular fishery or fish population is going to benefit from removal of some unknown number of birds. And so, as I've already said, we don't know how many cormorants are going to be killed, and it could be that a substantial number will be. And all of the interactions and studies and what the science says is you have to look at this on a localized scale. If you want to say that cormorants have an effect on a fishery, it has to be within a certain spatial scale and in the time frames. And you have to have data, really good data on the fish populations as well as the cormorant populations.
Now, last year we had chatted with anglers and property owners and scientists about, what this hunt could be when it was sort of in the public consultation process. And I'm just curious, what are the other methods that wildlife management officers have used in the past? A lot of people have suggested, why do the hunt when we can oil eggs? And I know you've talked about that before as maybe not the most ideal method. Can you explain that a little bit?
The thing with cormorants is that there are many different conflicts. So there's the conflicts over habitat, there's the perceived conflicts over fisheries, possibly conflicts over other water birds. And so each one of those conflicts comes with different types of management tools. And I think that for the fisheries, you can reduce local populations if you have compelling data. And it does take some effort to get compelling data. And there has been some work done where it's shown it. But Linda Wires, who's written substantially on double-crested cormorants and who signed our letter, reviewed most of the studies up until 2014 and said there's really been no evidence that cormorants have had an impact on natural systems. And you need to identify what the impact is. Is it the impact on the fishery? Is it the impact on the economics of the fishery? Is it the impact on the fish population? So you can see it gets complex, and cormorants are just one predator in this system.
I'm very curious, and I'm sure a lot of people don't actually know this about cormorants, but cormorants are a conservation success story. Tell us a little bit about that and kind of that journey from, the 60s to where we are now.
Yeah, so like many species of birds at the turn of the last century, they were decimated, and then the population started to regrow once the Migratory Bird Convention Act was initiated. And then the population crashed again with pollutants, DDT and PCB that humans put out. And then we dealt with those pollutants. And again, this is a migratory bird. It's going to the U.S. And the U.S. put cormorants on their Migratory Bird Treaty Act, and that also helped the population grow. So once we got rid of the pollutants, we protected the species, and they are using invasive species to primarily exist in the Great Lakes. And some people have suggested that predation on invasive species means they're not eating sport fishery species of fish.
So it seems like there's a whole generation of people who never grew up with cormorants before. And do you think that might have some play in this?
Yeah, that's right. So there's a time where you could be on the Great Lakes in the early 80s. You would have never seen a cormorant. You would have been very hard pressed to see a cormorant. And I think because the population has rebounded, people think that they're invasive, that they don't belong on the Great Lakes. And they're very much a native bird to these systems.
Gail, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight. That's Gail Fraser from York University. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
The Agenda in the Summer with Nam Kiwanuka is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.